another former All-Star. First they had KD and Kyrie, then they added James Harden, then they added Blake Griffin, and now they added LaMarcus Aldridge over the weekend. What do you think that means in terms of the way that the league is dealing with players and super teams and movement?
I think the league is on fire right now. Enthusiasm, popularity of the game, the interest in all of the teams. Just think about it like this. Zion, Booker, John Morant, they were on squads last year that did not make the playoffs. Just think about that for a second. And now all of a sudden you have the Utah Jazz playing amazing basketball, the Denver Nuggets making moves and putting themselves in championship position. And then you have what the league has always had. A couple of villains, a couple of super teams. I hate to admit it to everybody, but the Lakers and the Celtics basically have 50% of all NBA championships. Like literally. And so when another team pops up and puts itself in position to win, it's refreshing for the league. And I'm not a guy that wanted to see KD leave OKC to join the 72-win Warriors. But you know what else? The league has to make sure that it guards itself against. While if we see the Nets and the Lakers, it's going to be the greatest thing that happened to the NBA. It's going to be so fantastic. But let me give you the undercurrent that people got to pay attention to. That James Harden and Blake Griffin both tanked it at their previous situation before they got to this one. So to the rest of the world, James Harden can say that he's MVP. And playing in Houston and playing for the Nets, James Harden is performing like an MVP. And you know like how much I love his game. But he dogged it in order to get what he wanted.
Yep.
It's funny when Blake Griffin goes to the Nets and he dunks his first basket. Like a lot of people think that's funny, right? That ain't funny to Pistons fans.
I know.
That ain't funny to Rockets fans. And you know who else that ain't gonna be funny to? The league office. When LaMarcus Aldridge is averaging 12 points with the Spurs, and then he comes out and he scores 20 points in his first game with the Nets, that's not good for the league. That is not good for the game, for players to basically tank to get what they want. But for the Nets, they're doing exactly what you would want a team to do. Get all of the equity you can and put yourself in a position to win multiple championships.
I mean, part of the chatter about this was the forming of a super team, and a lot of people had their eyes on KD, who did make that move to the Warriors, and, oh, he can't do it by himself. He needs to get these players. I don't understand the criticism. What is Sean Marks supposed to do except put the best basketball team together that he can? Why wouldn't KD want help to win a championship? Why wouldn't you want to be on a good team? I think that all criticism of Kevin Durant surrounding this and this weekend and him going back and forth on the Twitter is unjust and unwarranted. If I'm Sean Marks or I'm a franchise, I'm trying to put together the best team to give myself the best chance because nothing is guaranteed. And we've seen this season how injuries can derail things. It's nice to have some insurance in place on your roster.
Well, I think you just conflicted two different points. I think LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, at this point of their careers joining the Nets is vastly different from one of the best players in the world, Kevin Durant, joining the 73-win Warriors. And so, as the pickup basketball expert of the world, I want to ask you an important question. When you go play pickup ball, don't the two best players actually pick teams so that they don't play together?
Well, Jalen, when you go play pickup, don't you want to be on the best team so you can win the most games? It's that simple. It's the same in the NBA. Now, not only did the Nets sort of rearrange their roster, in the arms race, Los Angeles answered. They added none other than former Piston and former Cav, who was bought out, Andre Drummond. What does this signing mean for the Lakers in the West?
I'm glad you talked about the arms race because I got mine. Make sure you get yours. Shot one.
Wait, I saw you post the vaccine picture 2 days ago. You need to take a shower and take that Band-Aid off, my guy. You've had that Band-Aid on for like 48 hours, but continue about Andre Drummond.
It's a new Band-Aid, but I appreciate you. My arm still hurts. Here's the thing I want to say about Andre Drummond. I'm happy for him. And again, so here's a 35,000 square foot view. For the Lakers and the Nets, and for Andre Drummond, this is outstanding because they need the big fella. They need his bulk, they need his rebounding, they need his ball skills, they need his scoring. They're going to need him to win it all. And I'm happy he's in the position to do so. But you know what ain't good for the league? When the Thunder play and Al Horford is not playing the rest of the year. You know what ain't good for the league? When the Cavs were coming to town and Andre Drummond was on the roster and not playing. When Kevin Love is not playing. That's not good for the league. That is not good for the game. In 3, 2, 1, you're going to see Adam Silver, who I believe is the best commissioner in sports, figure a way to navigate teams who at this point of the season are only focused on saving or making money versus the balance of power in the league. When I buy a ticket, I should be getting fair value of what that roster could provide, not understanding that, oh, Horford's not playing because we're going to save and wait till the offseason to move him. That can't be what the league becomes overall.
I think that's a good point. And you touched on something that is very important for this Lakers edition of Drummond is gives them a lot of versatility in the front court. They still have Gasol, who hasn't been great this year, but they have him. They have Drummond, who gives rebounding, rim protection, size if you're going up against a Jokic. But then you also have Montrez, and you could have AD at the 5. You have LeBron. They've got this mix of 5 players that they got Morris. They've got this mix of players they can mix and match combinations to match up anything that an opposing team, an opposing series in the playoffs brings at them, which is why I think this is so important. And I don't know if you've looked recently, but they haven't been rebounding the ball that well, and that is something that Andre Drummond does best in the league, if not just one of the best in the league. Well, there's some huge news in the NBA, huge news in college basketball. Back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen joining us on the program right now. We have the pleasure, we have the honor of being joined by one of the funniest people on the planet Earth, stand-up comedian and so much more. Roy Wood Jr. joins us. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join us on the program.
Yeah, man. I thought Jalen was going to have a bat, but I should have known he was going to be all go blue today. Justified myself.
Definitely go blue, but I got your back. We give the people what they want. It's on deck. Just for you. I got it on deck.
My dude.
One of the big stories over the weekend is LaMarcus Aldridge joined Blake Griffin, who joined James Harden in joining KD and Kyrie on the Nets. What do you think about this super team forming in Brooklyn?
Yo, man, this is like the Avengers. I need time to learn all these characters. It's too many people all on one team. If it takes all of that and they still can't beat LeBron, I don't want to hear anything else about LeBron's legacy. Because that's what this is all about. This is all about trying to be the 36-year-old man with right now kind of a weak ankle. But you know, every time you see LeBron, he in better shape than the last time you saw him. So it don't mean nothing to the... They may not get past Miami. Everybody talking about Brooklyn. They may not get past Philadelphia. So talk to me when they out the East. You know, this assumption that they just going to leapfrog all past everybody else in the East, man, I don't know. You still got to win your conference before we can start talking about that.
You are hilarious. Thank you for entertaining us and being a seasoned veteran over the years. And I also know that you're a Miami Dolphins fan. They've made some recent moves with draft picks. What do you think is going to take to make them legitimate contenders in the AFC? And do you feel like Tua is your franchise quarterback going forward?
Well, you know, speaking of ankles, you know, we got to get the boy some O-line to make sure his feet is protected. I wouldn't mind a running back, but, you know, the Dolphins are kind of playing around with some of their draft picks now. You know, I know they did a little dance to move down, you know, but I think the AFC East right now, if there's ever been a time in the AFC East, you got Cam Newton, you ain't sure. Josh Allen going to be Josh Allen. The Jets.
I guess they still have a...
Look, the Jets might have a new quarterback come draft day, and the Dolphins might add Jamar Chase. Keep an eye on that. We also know that we all share something in common. We are all huge fans of the gentleman by the name of LaMelo Ball. You are a Hornets fans. We are huge LaMelo Ball supporters. So what do you see from the Hornets this season that gives you excitement?
I saw a guy who was not afraid to go out and play the game his way. All that, let the game come to you. No, LaMelo, like, look, this is what we doing. We're gonna run down the court. I'm gonna pass the ball to everybody. Hayward, you be ready because I might dump it off to you for a dime. And I think it's giving like to be a Hornets fan and be able to go, well, not anymore, but to be a Hornets fan a couple weeks ago and go, we're the 4th seed. Do you understand the level of excitement that you can dare to have now as a Hornets fan? Like, he's given us optimism, which is something that we ain't really had for a while. Like, I ain't had this level of optimism since the Hornets drafted Kobe Bryant, and then we immediately got Vladdy. And I said, man, dang. Man, dang.
And you're a Cubs fan.